guess I'm just trying to find a quiet place to come talk to you. Philip was great and let me cry this morning, and I stayed in my room and the bathroom, and I feel like if you haven't sobbed on your bathroom floor, you haven't done it right. But he was great. He let me have some time, and then I needed to be on because I have kids. I do have kids. I'm very blessed that I had needed to change my demeanor and to put a smile on my face. Actually, I'm going to be honest, I didn't put a smile on my face, but I was functional out there with them. And this is about as put together, Alex, as you get today. I almost got rid of this shirt because I don't really love it, but I picked it out today to try to remind me of the thing that we do really well, is to be positive and to have hope. But I'm really sad today. And I haven't been this sad in a long time. And now I'm remembering why maybe I didn't really have a lot of hobbies in the midst of infertility in the beginning, because I probably was pretty depressed. And the things that bring you joy just don't bring you joy. And so these last handful of months, when I'm telling everybody, find that hobby that brings you joy, it'll help you through it. I love my garden, that's the hobby that I have, and my animals, and I love it. And farm life might not be your passion, but something else might. But when it hurts, it really hurts. And even those hobbies can be nice, but it just really hurts. And I haven't hurt like this in a while, and I think I was really good at being hopeful. I had a lot of hope, and just having that hope is super strong. It is a strong emotion that can really get you through, is having hope. And I was really hopeful for a different kind of infertility journey. I was really hopeful for better results, good results. So this morning, the last vlog you saw was yesterday, and if you go back, I'm so smiley, and I even said I could be miraculously pregnant, but I'm not. Well, now I can definitively say, no, I'm not, because we just got back. I shouldn't say that. I know God can do anything, but scientifically, we got back our semen analysis for our 4.5 months after surgery. And yes, I know it's not the 6 months after. Some people have good results a year after. But it was worse than our last semen analysis 3 months after his surgery. And I know it's only been another 6 weeks, but the swelling had for sure gone down, and this is 90 days after that. And his count was normal, which was really cool. His concentration was not. It was just back to being a low concentration, but the total was normal. The motility was again at 2%. And with a smaller count, the total sperm that were moving forward was like 1.7 million. And you can't get pregnant with that. And I was really hopeful that we were going to miraculously get pregnant. And people do. And you see those stories and they kind of sting because that's not your story. But then holding on to hope of, well, maybe that could be my story. And there's been a lot of pregnancy announcements recently, and it's just a reminder. I told Philip today, if we just stayed stagnant and didn't do anything, if we didn't take action, we wouldn't grow our family. Like we physically could not grow our family. And he's so great, and I know he lets me grieve. He does. I want to say, he said, I know we're not talking about this today, and we can be sad, and we are sad today. But look at the actions we have taken. And we do have girls. We do have our kids. Because we did take action to grow our family. And because of that action, I see a lot of people through infertility be a little bit stagnant and a little bit passive and not take action. And that's one thing that I feel like I've always taken action, but I don't know. I'm trying not to cry around my kids. I was in the office crying when I first got the results, and unfortunately my oldest came in and, Mommy, why? I wasn't crying, but my eyes were all red. She said, Mommy, why are you crying? And we want to grow our family, guys. And I was just hoping it was going to possibly get easier. I mean, some people do a medication and then they can get pregnant. And some people have to do medication and IUI, but then they can get pregnant back to back. And then some people have to do IVF and they end up with all these really healthy embryos and they just keep transferring one back to back and they just can have all of their kiddos. And then there's us. It just feels like the infertility we've been dealt is just, it's so much work. And the chances of getting pregnant are so low. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful we can do IVF. Some people can't. Some people, their story, they can't even do IVF. And we get asked, are you going to adopt? I want to. I really do. But I'm going to be hitting 35 this year, which then they go into the advanced maternal age, which Philip's trying to tell me, don't think about that. My mom had me at 40. But with that, gosh, what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, with that, I would love to experience pregnancy, maybe at least just one more time. I would love that. And so I can't wait anymore. Before, when we were younger, we could do adoption first and come back to fertility treatments later. But now we're in the window where if I just want to experience that pregnancy just one more time, we would have to do that first. And then after that, then we could keep going with adoption. And that might be our journey. But that's my explanation when I get asked, you've adopted, what about going forward with adoption? And I loved being pregnant, and I know so many people would just love to have that experience just once. And I'm so thankful I did. And I felt the best I've felt in my life. I know some people it's uncomfortable and they don't really love it. I loved it. Every part of it. Like the hardest part, quote unquote, was heartburn and maybe not progressing in my labor after 5 days and having to seek medical intervention. But I would love it. I just really thought, and I really was hopeful, and I wanted to be better about coming on here and sharing with you the ups and the downs of infertility. And it's really strange that yesterday is the day that I came on to talk about, waiting in between treatments is hard. And then them finally getting back to me of Philip's results from earlier this week. And it's just such a roller coaster. Yesterday I was so hopeful. I'm not gonna lie, I was so hopeful that naturally maybe it was getting better and, we were gonna get pregnant over the next couple of months, just naturally. And now knowing that we can wait until the 6-month mark, we can wait again. We can wait between taking action again, the waiting game, the wait. And I've told you guys again, my heart is all for the people who are still in the empty arms phase. That to me is the hardest season to be in. Because I'm gonna cry, and this is my grief day of getting the news and getting the results. But tomorrow and the next day, it'll get better, and I can do the things that I love and try to distract myself with some other things, and I get to go snuggle my kids, like so, as they start fighting with each other. So it's not as painful when I get to have the joys that I want with having kids. But it just is really, it's a sting today. I just didn't want to have to make a choice. I just wanted for everything to just naturally happen. I didn't want to have to take action. It's exhausting. So I think we're going to do things a little differently than we have before. When we've taken action in the past, even though I feel like it was slow, we were always go. And I think we're going to at least spend the next, handful of weeks just really praying and really seeking what's our next steps. And just really be on our faces. And Philip's always really good at staying positive. And I don't know if it's because he wants to be strong when I'm down. You have a gift of being able to be positive through hardship. It's truly a gift. I know it's not something that everyone's blessed with. And I feel like I've gotten to have that and experience that. But there are still the days. There's still the days of pain and reality and results. There's still a part of me that's still hopeful that things could change over the next couple of months. But I think the reality is setting in a little bit that our best chance to experience pregnancy is IVF.
Would you change anything from your past? What would you change?
That is such a loaded question, because the right answer is to say no, because I have the life I have, and that is truly deep down what it is. But would it be nice if it wasn't such a painful journey and so hard? Yeah, that would have been nice.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that we could have adopted one more time between Callie and Cassidy and didn't have as big of an age gap. Should we have started seeking treatment when Cassidy turned 1? You know, there's all the little things of like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Would you have done anything different?
I mean, knowing what I know now, probably. I would say the thing that I would change the most would be, honestly, not spending those years doing IUI knowing what we know now.
Sure.
I would have probably just bit the financial bullet. And like, I don't know.
I don't think we could have afforded it back then, though.
I was just going to say that.
It
like,
was what it was.
There's no way. We did how many rounds of IUIs because one round of IVF was $20-something thousand, and one IUI was like $2,000. So that
and it was way more affordable.
Yeah.
It was way more affordable. Even that, like our IUIs were they were in the hundreds when we did it, where we were at.
Really? Yeah. Things are just so much more expensive now. But yeah, I now that I understand it, I think that you're right.
My heart.
That would have been really the only thing, was changing, just jumping straight to the grand poobah of infertility treatments. Earlier, we would have saved 3 years. But at the same time, like,
even though, like, after Callie was born, when we were doing fertility treatments, it was failed transfer after failed transfer, and it just took so much time. And now even my brain is going, I wish I could fly back to my old doctor and do treatments with her. Part of me still wants to, but then you're on vacation doing treatments, and I feel like you're most relaxed and at a good state in your own home.
yeah.
So I don't feel like my body would be in a relaxed state either. And even though I think she's the absolute creme de la creme, I don't know if that would be best for me or not to be back there. Anyways, but like I said, we're going to be praying about it and not just jumping.
I mean, you could go back by yourself, and I could watch the kids here.
The only thing is there's a second part to it that we would need you for. Yeah.
Okay. Proud of you.
I'm still going to be hopeful. So you've been on the fertile aid for 6 weeks, not a full 3 months. By the time we even meet up with another doctor, make a plan.
You're playing the time game, aren't you?
It's the time game. It's still going to be a few months from now before even being able to gung-ho take that first step. But the exciting part with IVF is that once you do the retrieval, you could be pregnant the next month or two. Like it could be quick. It could be 3 years, but it could be quick.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get on here because you guys were so sweet and so awesome and so supportive, and reminded me that I like to share because I don't want anyone to feel alone. And I know my story is totally different, but it's nice to know that you're not the only one going through it. And I love you guys. Thank you for all your love. Maybe I'll be back on here tomorrow. I'll try my best.
The secret about blogging is that it's therapy to a degree.
It's good to talk about.
It's so good to talk about your emotions to yourself, to others, well, specifically to others, but to really process the deep things, the dark things, the hard things.
Yeah.
As soon as that thing happens, you go into an internal dynamic of processing. But if you don't verbalize that, if you can't actually physically talk about that, then you don't really know what is truth, because truth happens, and truth comes through studying, and truth comes through looking at all of the things going on, and without being able to have that freedom to just buffer everything out and just get unload all those thoughts, those prayers, those hopes, those dreams. It's hard. And so I'm proud of you for coming out here immediately and within an hour or so, sharing the really, really open and honest truth. And I think that's what's been so consistent. We've been meeting with couples personally behind the camera for years. I mean, it's just what we do. We have them over for dinner. We hang out with them. We connect, text, call. Like, if we find out there's people, like, locally, wherever we've been, that's what we get to do. It's like our passion and our purpose.
Struggling with infertility. I know what he meant.
And so, sorry, did I not make that clear?
Just to clarify.
And so, because of that, we've had so much time to process with others and other people and help them through their things. And that communication, that community really is the essence of what we hope that you guys can have too. It's the depth that comes by honest communication, honest thought processing. As we're able to grieve on our end, we also grieve with you guys, because we know, and we've been faced with a lot of families recently that are going through really just a massive difficulty through infertility. And it never gets easier. It never gets easier. And we know couples that are like done trying to have kids, and it's still not easy for them. Like, infertility is something that sticks with you for life. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, I know grandmothers that are here watching this that have connected and said, I didn't get to have kids, and it was such a long journey for me, and I'm still having a hard time. You know, when I see other grandkids, like, it's a lifelong process. Like, this is not just, okay, you get a couple successes and then it all goes away. It's like that grief happens because you have wounds, and wounds sometimes can heal, but wounds leave a scar. And what we're processing, and what a lot of people do in the infertility communities, they're processing their scars. And those scars remind you of the pain, and those scars remind you that you survived, and those scars remind you that you're alive, and those scars remind you that you didn't go through something that was just simple. You know, it wasn't a broken fingernail. It was something that left a traumatic memory. And when you don't process trauma, then you can't help others. And I think that's why God has gifted us with the ability to be in this community for so long, and probably for the rest of our lives, is because we have figured out how to process trauma.
The battery died.
It's all good. I forgive you.
We grieved our battery to death.
The last thing I was saying is it's so important to grieve. It's so important to process after certain things happen, and it's everybody's grief is totally different. The reality is we're gonna have more painful moments in our life. Like, this isn't just, you don't just get like a couple painful moments through life. You get a lot. We're human. We're sinful. We're fallen. Like, we need God. Like, we need to be rescued. That's why Jesus came, and that's why he came to rescue us through his own death and burial and resurrection. And that's why, like, we are called to something greater, which is heaven, which is like an eternity without pain. And this is such a temporary system. And the moment that we struggle is the moment that we forget that life is here on earth is like a practice run. It's a trial run. Like, we're here to build faith. We're here to build courage and character, and that character develops our spirit, and our spirit is the thing that survives us. And without that hope, without that eternal hope, like, it's so easy to get despair. It's so easy to feel lost. It's so easy to feel traumatized with no hope to move forward. And so I think our faith, our personal, intimate faith, is why we have that optimism, is why we have that courage, is why we have that strength. Because no matter what the losses happen, no matter what comes our way, we have to remember that the scars are not a failure of our humanness. It is our humanness. It's not the failures of our past or present or future. It's part of being a human, which is we are fallen, we are sinful, we are flawed, we are in need of a Savior. We're desperate need to be saved and restored and reconciled and redeemed from glory to glory. Because we can try to be good people, we can try to do good things, we can try to get through hard things, but if we do it on our own, we're gonna fail. If we do it without community, we're gonna fail. We do it without God, you're not gonna get as far as you would with him. And I think that is why this has been, although difficult, bearable. Although a struggle, the perspective is, gosh, like,
you get through it. You don't. Yes, that's it. You get through it, and the scar's still there, but you move past it, and your skin will heal to a degree. There's something very therapeutic of just talking out loud. It's one thing sitting down and having a conversation. You need to have someone that's a very good listener. But there is something very therapeutic of being able to just get out all your feelings. I do feel a little bit better. So we're going to get going on our day. And thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you guys in our next video.
We
Let
love
your
you.
love multiply. Bye, guys.
Bye.